Welcome.
Hello there. I'm Alex Cutler.
And I'm Peter C. Hayward.
Hey, wait a second.
I am a Peter. I'm not the designer of this game, although I like to play that on TV.
It's one of my two favorite Peters.
Hey, everybody.
I will not be ranking them.
This is the Cardboard Alchemy live stream. We do this every Friday, or whenever you're watching this, we give everyone a chance to look behind the scenes at a board game publisher. In this case, we have behind the scenes at what it's like to design a game, because we've got Alex Cutler, who I've worked with before on a couple of games, and namely, we talked about Critter Kitchen, of course, which is coming out next year. We also put the background behind us. Andromeda's Edge, that was yesterday. Actually, that's not yesterday. I know it's still delivering right now to everybody. But yes, we can talk about Andromeda's Edge. We can talk about Critter Kitchen, talk about Flamecraft, whatever you want to do. We have Rosie, our comms manager, in the chat as well, saying hello to everyone and getting your questions. You can tell us what you're going to play this weekend, what you want to know, especially what you want to know about Critter Kitchen.
Yeah, all things critters, all things kitchen.
Hello. And we've got...
we do have Peter C. Hayward in the chat.
That's right. Yeah. So in case we say anything that has to be fact-checked.
Right, we don't... No one who's just watching the stream can see what he's typing unless they look in the comments, right? So I could just make up whatever.
Correct. You could say exactly whatever you want.
Oh no, see,
Rosie may put up actual
Peter
comments.
was telling me earlier that Peter Hayward said that Australia is actually the worst country in the world. So
wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Did you know that was our first country that we delivered games of Andromeda's Edge to?
Oh, very
and
nice.
They were very excited to get it. Apparently now for Critter Kitchen, they're going to go last, is what you're saying. Sorry.
He also said he hates the color blue, and he never wants to play with that color of pieces again. So I can have them forever,
we are learning all the inside scoop on this. This is like the behind the scenes you were waiting for, that he actually hates blue. He dyes his hair just to remind himself about the hate.
Yeah, he likes to wake up filled with rage when he looks in the mirror. So.
Helps inspire him. Just keep going. Push harder, right? Exactly. And we can talk about what he's saying. Technically, it's not a country. Okay. The opinions expressed in this chat are not necessarily the opinions of Cardboard Alchemy. All right, but anyway, let's talk about Critter Kitchen, because what happened is that there are stages of the production. The stage that we're at right now is that we are seeing the first mass production sample. What that means is if it's greenlit, that's what's going to be made thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And we're really close. We just have a couple last minute notes, but I love the fact that you're coming in town. You got to see it.
I did. It was awesome. And,
yeah.
We might have some of it here today to show off on.
Yeah, you're welcome to pull any of it out if you want to talk about it.
So this is sort of the part in the process where if we see anything that doesn't look quite right, we can write up the factory and say, hey, could you tweak this? Could you change this? But everything I saw so far looks pretty incredible.
That's good. Well, I also was like, don't look at anything else too closely, because there might be no, we did a lot of work on it. So there shouldn't be, inevitably in production, there's always some things. There's either some things that you catch and you say, oh, I wish we had gotten that a little bit, or there's a compromise you make in production. There are certain things on the Deluxe where the factory might say, we can't hit it exactly like that. And we go back and forth and we say, like, what can you do? And that's going to change. One of the things that happened is, I think I might have mentioned this last stream, but they had an issue with some of the rumor tokens and they wanted to change the color of the sides of the tokens. And I said, you can't change the sides of the tokens because we've specifically made the 6 and 7 player tokens white sides. And if you change all of them to white sides, you will affect whether or not players can sort out the 6 and 7 player tokens. That is a thing that we go back and forth because the manufacturer is always just trying to help. They're like, let's just make them all white sides. That'll help you. They'll be brighter. And no, don't do that. There's actual gameplay involved.
Right.
What were your thoughts when you saw it?
I mean, so I was about to say, actually, like I've worked with a number of companies over the years, and I promise I'm not just saying that because I'm live in person here, but this is the nicest production value I've ever seen for any game I've ever been involved in.
That's awesome to hear.
Really, really great.
Yeah.
Which I feel like with that kind of tease, we can't just like not immediately
start
showing
bits.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got a couple things off camera here.
Mm-hmm.
First, we are going to be looking at the standard edition.
There you go. It's like yeah. That's one of my favorite scenes, by the way, the Academy.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite pieces of art too. I just think it's so happy, right? Like just the idea of like graduating the Academy and getting
Chris put that on the side of the box at one point, and I said, we have to keep that. We have to keep that.
Yes, and we've got all of the orientation options for however you store your board games.
Anyone who has pointed out in Andromeda's Edge that we don't have a horizontal and a vertical, purely because the way that box came together and the artist had made a beautiful landscape that only worked certain ways. In Critter Kitchen, we have it because we managed to. We said to Sandara, "Can you give us 2 verticals, 2 horizontals?"
Yeah. And this is the standard edition, and I will say this is quite heavy. I don't. Do you know what the weight is off the top of your head? This feels like at least like I don't know 5, 6, 7 pounds. Like this is a lot of game.
Nice. We're also going to do stress testing.
Yeah.
Actually, the factory is at that point where they actually drop the game many times, and they then look at what pieces get damaged in heavy drops of the game.
Right. So one lucky backer is going to get the dropped copy.
Here you go. It's fine. Yeah. But one of the things that happened is we asked for the standard edition of Critter Kitchen to have all of the room to handle if you punch and bring out the expansion box. So all the deluxe backers are actually getting the expansion built in. It's actually factored into the trays. It's factored into all the processes. But for standard, you're actually getting the 2 retail products separately. And then we know what everyone's going to do is you're going to want to put the expansion right in there. But the first time that the factory puts it together, they don't think of that because that's not how they're trying to make it so that the standard edition doesn't damage in shipping. So they actually try and make the insert and all of the pieces handled just structurally sound for just those pieces. And then I say, oh no, there's got to be a lot of air in there. And they say, oh no, the air is bad. That'll mean that it breaks all the time. So they actually have created a cardboard X to stabilize the top inside the standard when you first get it, so that if you are buying the expansion, then you can that it sort of accounts for that room. Mm-hmm. And in this box right now, if Alex goes through it, it's all the expansion's already been added to this, so it's a bunch of things in there.
Yeah. So first we have 2 rule books. We have the standard rule book, which is the same size as the box. So nice big rule book.
We do like our big 10 by 10.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is a big rule book, right? Like not by complexity, but just by like you're not gonna have trouble reading. This is, and there's lots of lovely art on all the pages. This came together really nice. That is all the stuff you are getting in the box right there. That is a lot of components.
Yeah, there's a lot in this game. We pushed the designers to keep adding more, and somehow they kept. They didn't resist. They said, "Let's do it. Let's add more." Wow, you've got all the player pieces in there for 7 players.
7 players. That's right, because this box is now currently holding all of the things.
It has the expansion in there.
So, I'll just pull out bits and you can
hold
them up and talk about.
What we did is we made it so that the baggies that come in the box will actually hold all of your player colors plus your plates. Yeah. By the way, someone is reporting that. I thought it was someone saying that their friends just arrived. I think they're playing Andromeda's Edge right now. Well, you can check the stream out later. But this is what we are thinking, that players will grab this in the standard edition. You'll have your plates ready to go, and then these critic plates are also just stacked neatly in a certain section. So you'll grab that, and you'll also grab your player shield, which we have a bunch of those.
This is actually one of the expansion ones. This is Rose, that's from the 6th and 7th player expansion. So we've got a bunch of these that have the very nice art for the restaurants on the front.
Yeah. Sandara did a completely different restaurant shield for every single player in 7 players.
Not just every single player shield, but also every single player restaurant board. Which go together kind of as a cohesive vision for that restaurant and that team of chefs with their unique flavor and vibe.
All the other chefs will be staring at the outside, looking at your restaurant and wondering what you're cooking up next. And you will have 3 chefs, a mouse, a lizard, and a boar, frantically running around cooking everything and grabbing the latest ingredients. I really love the fact that all those, Sandara, who does watch the stream from time to time, you are the best. Nobody else in the industry does that. Everyone else pushes for, it's the same player shield, it's fine. And we even said to Sandara, you don't have to do it. And she said, absolutely not. We're going all the way for the art.
Yeah, and everything has a great use of space in terms of efficiency too. So like the player board, right? Once you're done with this in the game and you're going to scoring, you just flip it over. The score track's right there. You can fill that out. Your player shield has all of your player aid info on the back about how to play, how everything scores, what you need to do on a turn. So it's just right in front of you in a very accessible way while you're playing. So that is just nifty.
Huge shout out to Chris Strain on our team who made the player aid and just crammed it full of that kind of key info that you need. Yeah, the what was interesting too was, and I got to shout out Alex for this, is that we came up with these restaurants, and then Alex is usually also jumping in on the lore, like, oh, it should be, this is what I imagine this restaurant feels like, and this is the name suggestion. Now, on some of the names, we actually went to the entire team and said, let's all vote.
Yes.
Because there were lots of fun ideas. We had to try and pick some.
Yeah, I think we all ended up with like one of the restaurants that's kind of special to us, right? So
yeah,
the sailing ship one, let me see if I can find that. That one's called the Captain's Cutlery, since my last name is Cutler. Here's your restaurant if you want to show.
Oh, there is the one dedicated to Cardboard Alchemy for purple. It's a very fancy place. I don't know that we would think our office is completely this upscale, but we do have that.
There's my ship.
There's the ship. Now, I went to see Sandara in Singapore, and that has a lot of, she's also kind of dedicated that to her country. Because if you see the character that's in the front boat there, so this is the merlion, which is the mascot of Singapore, which is headed towards greeting the passengers of the boat, just like it greets all of the residents of Singapore when you see it. It's an amazing statue that I got a chance to check out.
And the name of this restaurant is the Blue Beard, named in honor of our other Peter, who cannot be with us today. Well, he's with us in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then actually one of my favorites, which I don't think was for any of us
Peter just mentioned at the same time. It's like designer sync right now.
Yeah, I was going to say this one. I think we're all in love with the art for this one. It's called The Sunny Side Up. It's basically this giant, floating yellow Zeppelin that takes you on a tour of the city while you have brunch, and kind of looks like a big old egg yolk in the sky with a cloud behind it.
Yeah. And I think Sandara kind of felt like that was the one she was dedicating to, the one she was excited about. She's put the most airships in a cooking game that's ever been done before.
We were talking about this the other day. There's pretty much
pink one, right?
every piece of art that she does for Critter Kitchen, just when there's a cityscape, has one or two airships kind of floating in the background.
Yeah,
so we were thinking that maybe outside of a game specifically about airships, this probably has the highest number.
It might even have more airships than a game about airships.
I think just because there's so much unique art, we probably have more airships in this game than most airship games have in their games. So.
Now, a fun fact about Brad Brooks, who is the co-publisher of Cardboard Alchemy, co-founder, and Brad and I worked on Letter together, and I said, what do you want the starting player marker to be? It's a 1920s, Art Deco tycoon, like Captains of Industry style game. And the first thing that he thought of was, and he loves Zeppelins. So he was like, that's what I want the player marker to be. Let's model a Zeppelin. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Absolutely. That's the starting player marker in that game. And it's kind of exciting. We've come all the way back around to this game. He didn't even tell Sandara to do that. That just happened.
Okay, just pulling out more stuff here. We've got our critics and our restaurateurs. So we have the decks of cards there.
Yeah. And I've got a couple of those open because... Oh, no, actually, the solo cards, actually.
I was going to save that for last, but you want to talk about the solo?
No, we can wait. We can wait.
It's very exciting.
It's just that those restaurateurs are like open and ready to go.
This will be the bag that all the food tokens come out of. Very nice.
Yeah, this is a big... Yeah. We wanted a draw bag. Now, originally, the game... interesting fun fact about development. Originally, the game had two bags, and it was a discard bag. And Peter and Alex had figured out the exact number of tokens needed for... each player count with the discard bag. And there was one player count where you had to go back in and port back into this bag.
Yes.
And these are early tests. And this might have been me. I didn't want two bags in play tests.
Yeah. It was such it's long ago at this point. I don't remember the exact process for what the two bags were doing, but it's so much better now. So it doesn't matter.
Single bag, everybody. Just put everything. When you spend things in challenges, you just put it right back in here.
Yeah.
And you know,
one of the things I was going to say is like, not just from a production level is this game really great because of working with you, but also so many of those changes that were really positive that came about in development were because you and your team put so much TLC into that process.
Yeah.
A lot of times development can be a shorter, more hasty process, and for this it was not. And not that it went on especially long, but we were all in there putting so many hours into it because we all cared so much.
Yeah.
And that's a difference, I think, that working with you is compared to working with some other publishers. So I appreciate that.
I could say the same thing back, because I felt like at the point where we were testing carts, I think you and Peter were like, let's play again. Let's do it again. Let's go again. And it was so much excitement and just I think that passion just drove it. Like, it's possible that passion drove, let's do even more. I remember that you came back from an Origins with Peter, and both of you decided to try 6 and 7 player.
Yes.
And we were like, what? 6 and 7 player? And like, it works. It works.
It does work.
And we just actually played 7 player at a retreat with a bunch of content creators. And I can't wait for everyone to see that footage, because we put everything and the kitchen sink into that game.
Yes, that was as maxed out as it can get. Would you call it chaos mode or something?
Wait, Rosie has dubbed it chaos mode.
It's not actually that chaotic. It all works together, but it is a lot. Like, you don't want to start there. Is probably
you don't. Yeah, you
should play the base game at like 4 or 5 before you jump into everything at 7.
Yeah,
but,
Jason so Easy Cat out there on the internet, it makes amazing TikTok videos, amazing Instagram videos. I love his stuff. What he was saying to me, he's like, what you've done with this game is create this great starting point where everyone can play the game. It's sort of accessible right out of the gate. And then when you're ready, and a lot of people are going to love this, you just like add the monkey module. You could like throw in the carts. You can put in restaurateurs if you haven't tried that before. You can, all the critics, of course, vary it up. And as you start to do that, especially 6 and 7 player mode has break time, so there's a different kind of mode to play. You start to see I don't even know how many thousands of combinations this game has. Someone has done the math.
If someone has, let us know. If someone hasn't, I'll sit down and do it, because I'd be curious to know. There are a lot of.
We had someone write in a letter. I believe it was from Denmark. I'm not positive, but I'll have to go find that letter because it was I've taken the afternoon and had figured out the combos. It was amazing.
This is going to be some napkin math, but are you familiar with the mathematical thing where it's like, if you have a deck of playing cards, there are more possible orderings to that deck of 52 cards than there are atoms in the universe? Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
So basically, like every little, it's like 52 factorial.
Sure, right.
So how many zoo chefs do we have?
We have 36.
36.
Well, 37 if you count the Cosmo. Yeah, Cosmo's a zoo chef. So
plus however many restaurateurs, and then I think that actually is multiplicative across all of those. I would not be shocked if, at least if you include the order that things can come out in, if we're beating a deck of playing cards. So like 10 universes worth of content. That's
wow.
You heard it here first.
We didn't think we were going to go back to a Drama's Edge, but it's a galaxy of possibilities.
The multiverse cannot handle this right now. So. I think that might actually check out. I'm not just blowing smoke. So I've got the locations here.
There you go.
I'll show off all the nice.
This is another one that was kind of an example of all of the things that were interesting about making these. These don't have the curved bottom, which Peter was saying the other day. He's like, that's a good indication that you don't put carts on this.
That's right, because here's an example of one of the locations that a cart will go into. Are the carts still in the other box? Let me go grab a cart.
Yeah, sure.
I actually want to show off the expansion.
Yeah, there's some over on that table. But the other thing we did on the soup kitchen is that in the playtest, we found that soup, which is infinite, was forgotten. A lot of the playtest, this was forgotten. So we actually we hated to like take any of Sandar's art out, but we made that area clear. We also did this to make sure that you understood that an infinite amount of resources could go here, not just a single resource like some of the other spots. So there's a lot of, once the gameplay was baked in and we could indicate various things here, carrying capacity goes right here. Originally, these locations didn't tell you where to put the carrying capacity, chefs, and I didn't think they needed it, but Alex took the game with a couple people and said, maybe a queue would help people figure this out. And that was another fun thing.
And I'll oh no, we broke Peter's calculator. I was also going to say real quick, Axel, to answer your question, we do have the recipe cards here, so we can look at those.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the recipe cards after
this. Yeah, let's finish this. So do you have one of the curved locations? So
there we go. Here, I'll hold this. This is the desert vendor.
And then
people are very.
This
is the start of the locations that created carts. The reason for that is because Peter, you had this. The desert vendor has never changed. This is the name of it from the get-go, and I said to both of you, I said, what if there were powers on the locations?
That's right.
And I will say that Peter's first response is that can't happen. They didn't say they couldn't happen. It's just that this game is not. We've already, because of all the other permutations. He's like, no, you don't want to do this. Kind of another funny story about that is we added carts to every location, and it turns out you don't want to do that. It's too much, right? It's too many.
There's
vectors.
A sweet spot.
There's actually a sweet spot, and we figured out it was 3 locations.
That's right. We tried having it scale by player count. We tried a few other things.
Yeah.
And just 2 or 3 is just right in that sweet spot.
This one was an interesting one because the reason why carts became a thing is because of the fact that it's a desert vendor. But if you were to add an S, it would be a dessert vendor. And I thought, what if they're serving ice cream or something else? And that is how we were starting to get into it. But instead of it being completely a dessert vendor, you can actually decide what it is by putting whatever cart you want on it.
So, and just because I think this will be a fun segue, so this cart right here happens to be pies.
There we go. There's the dessert right there.
What's this?
Oh yeah.
This was one of these components that's going to be in this game that people are going to be like, what? They have that too? This is actually a spinner counter. There's going to be 7 of these, 1 for each player.
Yep.
It's all in the game just for this cart.
Yeah,
for the
play with pies,
contest,
you need those in there.
And when I proposed this to Peter Vaughan, I was like, I really want this component. I want it to be a little pie. I want it to be able to tick up when you eat it instead of just like a little token you take instead.
Yeah.
And he looked at quotes. He was talking to factories, just like, oh, Alex, I'm sorry, we just can't. That would be too expensive.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then I've resigned myself to there's no pie tokens in the game. And then I don't remember when or how you told me, but you just were like, guess what?
We're doing pies.
We have pies.
Well, it was the backers actually that pushed, because what we said was if everybody pushes, and I mean pushes, then we're going to be able to unlock things like that, like all wood tokens in the deluxe, like, pushing for the standing bag in the deluxe and all the different things that we, did on various parts. All the stretch goals, there were over 90 stretch goals, which is the most we've ever done here at Cardboard Alchemy, ever. So that was amazing.
And since I went over and grabbed the carts, I also wanted to show this off. So the standard box that we just opened is holding all of the standard game and all of the expansion in that box.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do get this lovely expansion box.
That's true.
Which is a unique piece of art that wraps around on the sides that I just love, that shows off kind of the carts in action. So it's like a little food festival type scene. With all the critters going to the carts.
Caveat that if you got the deluxe, you don't have this because it's all been packed amazingly in game trays for you, because it all fits in a mega box. But that is what's going to be on retail shelves to hold all of the 6 and 7 player, all of the carts, all of the bonus restaurateurs.
Little information.
Chris Strain did an amazing job on the back of the box. Yeah. This looks like so inviting. I absolutely love how insane that all looks, because the carts are all at the top. You're like, what is in this box? It feels like a brick. So when people do see this in retail shelves and they post, is this expansion worth it? This is a no-brainer to me. I would see that box and say like 100% I want all of it.
Do we touch it to make a quote go up? I want to touch that one. Yeah.
Which one, Peter's?
Yeah. Okay, so he's being tongue-in-cheek here, but because this question does come up a lot. The name of the expansion is a la carte, C-A-R-T, which the actual expression is cart with an E on the end, but it's a play on words. It's a
mass production, last minute.
The factory, they left the E off. This is
probably
intentional. It is a la carte, this type of cart, not a la carte with an E. But
I will tell you.
Can I ask a question? How you would translate that in French?
I have no idea what they're going to do.
It'll be a la, and then whatever the word cart is.
I believe the French translation team has already told us how.
Yeah, I think in France, like a la carte is a French expression, right? So like I think the French version should be like critter kitchen, and then like in English say like on the side or something.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like because
it's
use a foreign phrase. Come on, France, get your stuff together, figure it
out. It's gonna be fun to see what they do. Yeah. I can't wait to see what they do, because I don't believe it was so Lucky Duck is translating for French. I believe is actually not them that first pointed out. I think it was Czech or someone that said, by the way, you've screwed up.
You've botched it.
Oh, and Peter says it's zoo chefs, which, by the way, Brad found out is actually hyphenated in culinary textbooks.
That's right. If anything in this game appears misspelled, just assume it's a pun.
Yes.
So that covers any actual misspellings too. If there are real typos, it's just a pun. It's intentional.
I think I might have signed it on Zoo Chefs. I just want to say that this was presented to Cardboard Alchemy, and I saw Zoo Chefs and said, we have to make this game.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
And we have.
Oh, you want to talk about the solo?
I do want to talk about the solo. First, I just wanted to show the inside of the box, just because this is just another bit of like lovely attention to detail. You don't get this with a lot of games. Like this is not an ugly kind of cardboard insert. This is like nice art in the box.
This is reflective a little bit of what Sundar did for Flamecraft, which is that she always hooks us up with a cardboard insert that makes you feel like a little extra touch was put in. The standard edition, which we don't want it to be just, how many games have been just like chuck the stuff in the box. We're hoping not to do that on our titles. Now, I will say that the expansion, though, had so many components in it, we couldn't get a cardboard tray in there. It's packed like a brick. All right. We want to talk about this. It's also worth saying that the solo, the theme for the solo came from Alex. Alex said, hey, listen, I want to talk to you about my idea for a solo mode. I have an idea of an evil corporation, a corporation that doesn't care about all of the, it's not like your indie restaurant that is trying to serve you gourmet meals. They are just cranking out meals, serving customers with no care. And it's run by a bunch of prairie dogs. No offense to prairie dogs, but but what's the company?
So it is McDoggles.
Sure.
So like, a different company that will, non-litigiously pursue us if I say the actual name. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll not
so McDoggles, like prairie dogs.
Yeah.
And here is their kitchen. They do still have the boar, the lizard, and the mouse, but you can see the grumpy prairie dog managers in the background of the.
That's so much fun. The menu's up there. This is where their critic plate goes, and then they can catch some rumors as well, take them away from you.
Yeah, and so the theming was my idea, but full credit on the solo mode to everyone else at Cardboard Alchemy. I'm not a good solo designer. Well, I don't know.
Peter Hayward
is the mastermind here. So, yeah.
So what you have is you have a deck of, I don't know if we've explained, you have like a deck for each type of chef. So you have like the boar deck, you have the lizard deck, and then you have a manager deck as well. This is that's the D for McDoggles. Yeah. And so what you're doing is you're going to pull those cards, and the chefs are going to run. The mouse has instructions, but the manager may give the mouse some other instructions, which is going to screw you up. You can't quite figure out where they're going to go. And then Chris Strain and Peter really worked on this system where you get a different, where do we put those critics? I guess we have those on a different pile. But you have a card for each critic, which tells you what it's going to focus on. Specifically, like if you have the badger and they want mushrooms, then the AI McDoggles is actually going to serve a mushroom burger. They'll focus on mushrooms. It doesn't mean they're going to do a great job. They actually might do an amazing job. That's the thing. You have to actually stay competitive against them because they're going to steal the mushrooms from right under you, and then you might have nothing to serve to the badger, and you're going to think, I missed out on that. They're going to fight you for spices. They're going to fight you for rumors. They're not going to score the critic the same way. So that's where they stop. They don't care. They're not going to say, for the kangaroo, they're going to actually grab ingredients that are 6s because they know that you want 6s. They've like seen that there's something about these, but they don't actually know or care that the kangaroo is coming for
they don't
meal.
understand like they don't get the je ne sais quoi of the food, but they know what you want and they can block you. And we talked about this before, so I won't go into a ton of depth on it, but the biggest challenge, we didn't know that we could pull off a solo mode for this.
Yes.
Again, I say we, but it was, Peter and Chris and everybody else. Because so much of this game is the I know, psychology of where is my opponent going to go to spaces.
Has told me the term for that.
Yeah,
it's a Japanese term.
Peter typed the term. What is it?
Yeah. I can't remember now.
Yeah, he's gonna.
There's something about getting inside an opponent's head.
Right.
Yomi.
There we go.
There we go.
I was going to say unagi, and it's definitely not that. So it's Yomi, and that's the idea of like the psychology of playing with other players, which we, for the longest time, didn't think a solo mode was possible because it's such a Yomi game. It's a yummy game.
Yeah, there we go.
And we pulled it off.
So let me ask you this question, because this sort of leads into it. So Peter was describing one time about how games have action above the table and on the table, right? So above the table are your bluffing, you're getting inside someone's head, and then on the table is like legitimately what resources you can see and like the mechanisms working out on the table. And in all the games you've designed, because I know you have a lot of them, you're just not making cooking games. You have a lot of games that are getting made. We should actually talk about all the different ones that are coming out because we want to shout those out. But what do you like? So Cricket Kitchen, I feel like it's a blend, but it has a lot of above the table. And what do you feel comfortable designing?
I think Critter Kitchen's one where I think part of the strength of it is that you can do quite well as either type of player.
Oh, nice.
I think if you're just focused on getting the ingredients you need and you really aren't paying attention to other players, you'll do okay. And if you're just focused on reading other players, you'll do okay. And if you can synthesize both, I think that's your best shot at winning. Like it's a really nice blend, but I'm hoping there's stuff in there that's going to be appealing to all different kinds of players just because of the different paths you can take to victory.
And the nice thing about that, I think, is that it changes a little bit. I think 2-player is the most above the table, possibly because you have one person. You have 5 locations. Each one of you has 3 workers. So you know that a lot of 60% of the board is going to be covered by each of you. And there's also zoo chefs, which can make it 80% for somebody.
Yeah. And 2-player, that's the count I've played the most because Peter Hayward and I have probably played this game, I don't know, 300 times or something at this point, something crazy. Playing with the same players over and over is also a different experience. It's
I don't think I said below the table.
Yeah, there's probably some.
But anyway, I think 7-player luckily takes a lot from the fact that Critter Kitchen works great on the table, right? Because I don't think you can get everyone's head in 7-player. I think you're just trying to survive in sort of the kitchen, right? You're saying, how can I do the best?
You can't focus on everyone, but I think you absolutely, if you see another player that seems to be following your same line of play, you have this little side game going on with just them. So
the number of times that somebody says to me, we're playing 7-player, and I look over the content creators that we had Bonds, we had Tim Chewin, we had Danny Sandring, we had Grant Lyon, we had Jenna from Board Game Garden, and then there would be this thing where Jenna and Danny just kept going to the same place, just like, get out of my head. And then no one else some other people were not matching up. And I was looking at both of them like, are you going to try and well, I was going to go there, but I noticed Danny keeps picking the same kind of thing as me, right?
Yeah. I mean, that can be a trap too, right? If you get too into it with one other player, then, the other players can go off and just completely end around both of you. Yeah. Here, can we put that?
Which one?
Which one is it? That one right there. Yeah.
Someone writes in, excuse me.
Someone, no relation.
Nicole Cutler. All right, we'll have to, a lot of people are saying they are enjoying the chef's uniform. We actually made these for a film shoot.
And Peter has very kindly offered to let me take this one home with me. And Nicole, you said I could take
yes,
home.
absolutely.
So you will be getting one as well, and we can do a little bit of cooking in the house.
We'll have to, for the rest of chat that is not married to Alex, we'll have to work out maybe a giveaway at some point. We'll do a chef jacket
or you'll have to marry me. It's just
wow, you've heard it here first, everybody. Sorry, Nicole, but anyway, so before we go on though, I want to talk about all the other games. Well, not all the other games we've made, although you can talk about all the other games you've made. Whatever, is there something that's coming out now or something that particularly has come out in 24 that you want to talk about?
That's a good question.
We're just cooking a lot of things right now.
There's a lot of things being cooked. One thing, I know you have a copy of it there, so I'll just do a little shout out for it.
Well, okay, let's
that one. So this is a game by my co-designer Peter C. Hayward.
We're going to show you, by the way, how many things you can fit in the Critter Kitchen mega game tote.
Yes.
Right? I have this thing full. Why don't you pull out yours first? Okay.
This one?
Yeah. Okay. Like this is what you can fit in here.
This
by the
was
way.
the first collaboration between Peter Vaughan and Alex Cutler. This is Expansity from Breaking Games. This was my first published design.
That was a lot of fun to make that.
I think it got signed maybe in like 2015 or 16, but it came out in 2018.
Yeah.
This is a
games take time, everybody.
3D city building game where you stack up the buildings. Other than Critter Kitchen, this might this might be the game I've played the most games of, because this was my first design, so I had a much longer process of working on it.
Speaking of Nicole, didn't she make you like an awesome
she did, yes. I don't have an easy way to pull up a picture, but Nicole took this art, and for Christmas this year she gave me it's not Lego, it's like a different brand, but basically it's the little 1x1 Lego pieces. And it's like a puzzle, but for an image you provide. And so you sit there and it's almost like paint by numbers, but with the Lego. And then the final product is like this big, and I've got it hanging on the wall in my office. But it was a great like date night activity for the two of us to just, sit there and put the Legos in the right spot.
Yeah. Look at these pieces, because this actually goes all the way back to Chris Strain, who helped us model
collaboration
these.
Too. Yeah.
And we wanted, okay, there's rooftops here. We hold these.
Yeah.
There's 4 different colors. We can actually get these.
We're gonna hold this up. There's a lot of plastic in this game. This was, you can see the proto Peter before Cardboard Alchemy started, of how he was trying to just cram value into a box. Yeah, right. 100%. I don't think there were many companies that would have committed to putting this many bits in a single box.
Thank you to Brain Games for indulging, because what Alex said is he wanted different rooftops. Look at this. So you have choices. If you're building, we kind of defined these as like 2 different types of commercial toppers. And then there is one topper that's specifically for residential buildings. So you've got this one if you're building a residential. So there's commercial and residential. It feels a little bit like SimCity meets Carcassonne to me, because you've got all these contracts, and the city wants you to build a commercial building or a residential building, and build it near a stadium, or build it, This is where Alex started off on his puns. And there's all sorts of
all of the contracts in this game have a lot of puns.
Different
on them.
Fun. Yeah, we have all sorts of different.
I remember one of them is build a church near a bar, and it was called Second Communion. I like that one. Yeah.
If you haven't checked this game out, it's a really fun. So like I'll show you. Like this one says you need to build 2 residentials near a police station, safe streets. You've got other ones that tell you just to do like 3 in a row, and they could be, commercial or residential. We have lots of fun ones in here. About a short commute is fun because it's a 2-story, exactly 2-story, next to a 5-story commercial building. So 2-story home.
Short versions both, yes.
And it's called short commute because you're going right to the office.
And one of the bits in here, this is actually one of my favorite prototyping components when I work on other games. This is the score tracker.
It's like the original draft of Critter Kitchen.
Critter Kitchen used this before we had the star system figured out. We had a score tracker. We used this as our score tracker for Critter Kitchen. So Peter Hayward uses this a lot as well. This is a popular component in our prototyping.
And there's the goal cards, like most properties next to parks. I thought these were so cute. These were like really fun components that we made. And the artist was really neat because we had I'd seen basically this kind of artwork was in Forbes magazine, and I was so blown away. I was like, this is amazing, right? And
Cohen Pohl.
Yeah, Cohen. Like he's in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'd ever worked on a game before. And this was his first game, and he had so much fun digging into the perspective of a city looking down and playing sort of an isometric view. And I love playing with these. These are so great. I should say that Breaking Games still has this game on their website, right? If anybody wants to go get it. So anyway, but
this game was actually also, it was in I don't remember what city. It was Amsterdam. It's in the it was a temporary exhibit.
Oh, right,
but it was in the Museum of Architecture in Amsterdam, which is kind of cool. Like I had someone reach out internationally to get a copy of it and interview me for a book, and that was kind of like a few bucket list check off things of like, ooh, I have a game in museums.
So the other thing, I have to do this for Peter because we put all these other things in this bag, and I just want to show you. Like, okay, so this bag fit Expansity. I also have in here. Here, grab that. That time you killed me.
So this was Peter and I's not first collaboration, but first thing we worked on together that came out. This is Peter's design, That Time You Killed Me, and it overlapped with the time that I was the head of development at Pandasaurus Games. Yeah. So I did the development on this along with Jeff Razor, and
Rosie's making like I want it.
This is actually, I think, maybe my favorite piece of cover, other than Critter Kitchen, favorite piece of cover art of any game. I love this style.
It's a really neat one.
But this is a 2-player head-to-head sort of legacy light abstract game where you are trying to see which one of you is the actual inventor of time travel. You've both gone back and forward so many times that it's all jumbled up, and it's a very lovely product because you open it up, you read the story, and you're sort of unlocking more modules of play, but it's got Peter's trademark sense of humor and writing throughout it, sort of guiding you along it. It's a very funny game.
That's like my style of game is time travel. It unlocks things. My God, I should get into this game more. So that fits in the box. I also just had to put, I put Flamecraft in there because we made this game and I thought, well, it fits in there too. And we also got, it has more room. We also I put Peter's game Things and Rings.
And so this is the one I was actually going to mention. So Things and Rings, if you haven't heard of it, it's a really great little game. This is from All Play.
Love that game.
It is a Venn diagram sort of party game where one of you is the knower and you know the rules that govern these 3 circles, and then the other players are going to try and put cards out in the correct section of the Venn diagram to be accurate, and then the knower will either leave them there, in which case you've shed a card from your hand and you're closer to winning, or they'll move them and you have to draw back up to your full hand, to one more of whatever you're at. It's got this really, really lovely kind of Dr. Seuss style art.
That was neat. All Play did a great job.
It's a wonderful production. And Peter and I actually, because when this came out, I'm gonna slightly throw Peter under the bus, not in a mean way. But I was like, hey, Peter, I want, this is before he made this. I was like, Peter, let's design a Venn diagram game. That would be fun. And then 2 months later, he was like, Alex, I designed a Venn diagram game. And I was like, no, I meant together. And it got signed and it's doing very well. And I'm not jealous at all.
So let's, you know what? That's a great, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say and so we worked on the sequel together. So it actually just got signed this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's not been announced yet, so I don't know how much I can say, but it's doing very well. And then there will be more of it if you like it.
Your All Play news is on the Cardboard Alchemy stream, everybody.
Let's just talk about other publishers for a few.
We love this industry so much. It's a small industry, and I love to see everyone succeed, and I love what All Play is doing with this. I'm kind of jealous of this size box because I don't make this size box, and I love this size box.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to crowdfund when that's
this game is so great. I love this game. And now I was going to bring up this because we're going to bring on Rosie as well, and we'll chat, the 3 of us. But I want to talk about what is it like co-designing versus not co-designing, because you do both, and so does Peter. Basically, you're both doing it's an interesting thing. You did development at a company. You've just gone on your own to do designing. Peter ran a company and is just sort of focusing on designing right now. Mm-hmm. Do you like? This partnership is great. So do you find that you like both? Or you're feeling like this co-design thing is my jam now?
I have a lot of ideas on my own, and I have more ideas than I have time. I have 2 young kids.
You have to go back in time with the time.
I still do a lot of freelance development work for other companies. I still technically am the head of development for Pandasaurus, even though I'm not full-time anymore. I still kind of do all the same roles. And I find co-design to just be so much better for getting an idea through the process through to completion faster. Yeah. And I genuinely I have 2 frequent collaborators. There's Peter C. Hayward and then Mike Mihalsik, who is the co-designer on
you have a game
Place for All My Books, which is we can mention that one later. But Mike he works for Game Trace, who does a lot of the inserts and things for Cardboard Alchemy games, and he's a great designer in his own right. And
you have kids? You're obviously just ignoring the kids right now.
I thought you were watching. I'm in LA. And I love working with both of them. And I will say that in terms of being the one to actually make the prototypes and iterate, I am the weak link in both of those relationships. I will fully acknowledge. I am so grateful to both Peter and Mike for being the people who sort of, we get together, we play it, we have lots of ideas, and then they actually go in design and lay out the next version, because that is my least favorite part of game design, and it is the reason that most of my solo games stall out. Yeah.
I saw this in action. It's Peter is creating all this making this big thing, and then Alex just on the fly in the game goes, what if it did this? Just nails it. So you kind of like the idea guy in a lot of times. Both of you are idea men, but I saw that happen, and I thought, I should show you more games in their rough state so that
I
you
would
can
love
just
that,
go like,
honestly.
here's an idea.
That's actually my favorite part of anything relating to board games is playing a game when it's still at a stage where you can actually make changes and having ideas about what might make it sing a little bit more. So, which is, development, which we've talked about before on stream. I love game development.
Development is very fun. Yeah.
I mean, and I think of design a lot as, Critter Kitchen was a good example. Like Critter Kitchen, the entire time it was signed, that was development, right?
Yeah.
Like the things that Peter and I were doing were development, not design. But that was my favorite part of the whole process. I loved playing that game over and over, trying all the zoo chefs, trying all the combinations, just figuring out what little tweaks to make to just really make it sing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've also heard rumor that when you design, you like to design in a hot tub. Is that true?
Yes. Well, specifically with Peter and I. So I have a hot tub at my house, and when Peter comes over, we're both just like, we like hot tubs. Why not? So we
This is hilarious.
We'll do a lot of we'll take a problem, and it's not just hot tubs. It's
the reason why I asked you is because like Brad one time said that he got the idea to fix Rise of Tribes in the shower, and that kind of stuff can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So a lot of times Peter and I will call each other when we're both driving. We'll call each other when we're both taking a walk because we live in different cities, right? He lives out here in LA where I'm visiting right now. I live in North Carolina. When we're in the same place, we'll go on a walk together, or
we have to show that one.
You're there sometimes.
Wow, we're learning a lot on this stream.
Yeah. When we're together, we go on walks together, and also we go in the hot tub and just like chat for hours, kind of just like chewing on a game design problem. And I would say we've solved and or come up with new ideas for like new.
You have a waterproof pen and pad in there?
No, Peter just types on his phone and risks it. I'm not that type of person. I would not take my phone in the hot tub, but well, I highly recommend it to any design partnerships out there.
No,
but it's just
you heard it here first. This is the way to do it.
It's just kind of like a nice neutral environment to like you're relaxed and you can just let your brain wander. Nicole and I have this expression that we use when we're both kind of disassociating on our phones called Lego brain, which came from when I was a kid. And like, I don't know if you ever had this experience of like you're playing a game or playing with something. In my case, it was Legos, sitting next to someone else who's doing the same thing. And your hands and your brain are occupied on your task, but your brain is just kind of free floating. Yeah. And you're talking to them, and it's this very stream of consciousness, kind of disassociated kind of conversation. Yeah. And so I think a lot of good design kind of happens
in that brain space.
Yeah, like when you're just kind of like, I don't know, you latch on to weird things. It's like meditative in a way that I can't meditate. I've tried, but it's like a lateral way of thinking. Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's bring on our stream hot tub collaborator, Rosie.
We need a little like graphic on the bottom.
Hey,
just like
Chef
a hot
Rosie.
tub for us all to be in.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we do.
Hello.
There we go. Another chat in the chat.
I think this is actually Doug's jacket. I've stolen both now.
Everyone, is excited. What are you gonna, happy weekend, by the way. It's later for you, so you're at dinner time, I believe.
Got a cottage pie. So
ooh, very nice, very nice.
Which reminds me, we need to look at the recipes because someone asked.
Oh, right, we did. We talked about recipes. Yes, we'll bring those up.
That's right. So is this the first?
It's a group of chefs. Yeah. It is, and we're cooking nothing.
Let me show you what you get. Gosh, you get these tab cards first.
Wow, there are so many.
Yeah, you get like a whole bunch of these. Okay. Show those up.
So we've got.
So on the other side of each one is an ingredient, and you can use like a Sharpie to say these are all going to be all the meats, recipes, these are all the desserts. This is all the dessert recipes or dessert recipes, whatever you want to do. So you get all those tab cards, and then you get. Oh, those are exciting. We get a bunch of. Make sure I get these out here.
I'm never taking this off, Nicole.
Then you get a bunch of these. Check those out.
Okay, so these are all blank recipe cards, and look at that. Look at how many are there here? Like over 100?
No, we got 72.
70, and then
we had to put 100. A 7 in it because you said the 7s are important.
This is a lot, and these are nice too. Like you basically have everything you need to just write down every recipe you know.
Right.
Just with what's here.
And right on the other, take it easy, Ellie. By the way, it says spy, but we have to show the other side of those because there are there are zoo chefs on the other side, and there's a special one right there, Rosie's favorite.
Can I do the pose?
We also have all 36 of the zoo chefs.
There's Grant's favorite.
There you go. Grant loves Marie. Just ask him sometime on one of his TikToks. Do you like Marie from Critter Kitchen? Is it too late to add these to your pledge? It is not, actually. The late pledge is still going for Critter Kitchen. you could get all the deluxe goodies. We didn't open the deluxe on the stream today, but let me tell you that it takes the standard. It takes every one of the components up to another level. So we are excited by that. So, but then also with the recipe cards, we asked not only our community, but also our contributors to the game to come up with recipes. So you didn't have to, if you didn't have any recipes of your own that you wanted to cook that night, when you get the game, you can immediately start making Alex's chili recipe.
Yeah, so let's see. We've got Rosie's cookies right here.
Oh yeah, so Rosie made sure that you can use your cookie cutters out of the gate with a great recipe that's going to be perfect for getting just the right amount of flour and so they don't stick.
Shout out to Lauren for fitting that on that card.
Oh yes, Lauren, by the way,
so many details and top tips.
Totally nailed it. Totally nailed it. The last step.
Yes, dear.
Wow, it's so comprehensive. And now I don't have to worry about making the perfect cookies for my cookie cutters. I'm so excited.
Addy, just email us and we can add it on for you. Because if you've already finished your pledge, you just need to contact us, which is hello@cardboardalchemy.freshdesk.com. But you can just message me on Instagram or whatever. I can help you.
Peter C. Hayward's Anzac cooked biscuits, which is an Australian tradition. And here's my chili recipe.
Oh, it's got you. It's got
the alpaca.
Is that some spicy meat in the corner?
You know what I really like chili, so I can't wait to try this recipe because I've heard our recipes are similar.
Yeah, that's award-winning chili.
Nice, excellent.
It's very
and there's a bunch from our.
And then we had our community submit, and basically what happened is everyone submitted for either like the fish themed recipe or the dessert. Right. So we had a lot in the dessert category.
The Marry Me brownies from Rebecca.
Do you know
Nana's pumpkin bread from Stephanie?
There you go.
Yeah. I can.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do it.
Sweet and spicy tuna steak by Axel.
Yeah, Axel in the chat right now. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Can't wait to try these out.
Spinach mushroom quesadilla by Nick.
Ooh, I don't like mushrooms, but I might want to try that.
Butterfly Effect, which is a cocktail provided by Josh. We've got Marie there for the Butterfly Effect.
There you go.
Nice. I will try any cocktail recipes. I will definitely try. Roasted smoked Brussels sprouts by Michael. Those are always tasty.
Good, yeah.
Spicy beef gnocchi from Luisa.
Very nice.
I love me some gnocchi.
Absolutely.
Lasagna rolls by Kelly.
Got the cheese theme on that one.
Yep. Satessa chicken tortilla soup by Paul. I might have butchered the pronunciation of the first word, and then finally flambéed peach with spices from Sacha.
Oh, we got a spice in there as well. Yep.
And then we also, this is from the Cardboard Alchemy team, King's carrot bread recipe. That's Judy, Peter's mom's recipe. Is there anything tastier than mom's carrot bread?
No, I mean, that actually goes way back. So it was a really special thing that we got to add that in from my grandma, essentially. So we are so excited for, Nicole's confirmed the chilies. That's good. Oh, look at that.
Josh's, excellent.
These recipe cards aren't a part of the game. They're just extras you can get. You don't use the recipe cards in the game.
You don't make up a recipe.
No, you could
figure out a way to like
food while you play.
That's a great.
Oh, we should do a night where we make all of these and do like a big buffet and like play the game.
I'm going over to Alex's house. And then that's what I want to see when we get with all the recipes.
Well, Peter is coming to Thanksgiving this year. You're committing right now on the stream and you can't back out.
Okay. In. Solid. Let's do it.
Excellent.
And then we're going to make all these and then we'll talk about it. And then Rosie will have some more content to share on the internet.
That's right. And we kind of glossed over it a little bit, but like everyone everyone is getting cookie cutters, right? Pretty much everyone who backed it?
No, so what it is
some of them at least.
So how the cookie cutters work is there were three orange ones.
The contest,
the chef cookie cutters are for if you did the puzzles, you got them for free. Otherwise, you could add them on.
That's right.
Or you could get the merch feast, which comes with everything.
Right. And I think a lot of our backers did do at least one puzzle to get the.
A lot of people did the puzzles.
So you'll get some, and some people will get more. But the cookie cutters just look so great. And then, like we said, right out of the box, you got Rosie's cookie recipe to do it, and she was trying it out and putting it's a shortbread cookie kind of type thing. You need a firmer dough so the picture doesn't run when it expands.
You just need something that doesn't spread.
But keep in mind that you could use those cutters on, and Rosie pointed this out. You could like cut sandwiches. You could like actually use it to cut the bread.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, if you're, you probably don't want to like go back and forth between the two. But my kids got a lot of use out of them as Play-Doh molds. So
yeah, You could probably make
Yes.
critterootery boards and just cut all of the cheeses and meats out with the
Now we're
shapes.
talking.
You can also use them to use the pattern part, because there's two parts. There's one part that has the texture and the one part that has the outside cutter. So you can just use the imprint to make like pie imprints, so you can like make a pattern on top. And then you can use it in fondant or sugar paste and make cake decorations. So there's loads of uses for them.
Yeah.
You know, I
came for the Andromeda's Edge. By the way, we are delivering Andromeda's Edge this week, but we've taken over the stream with Critter Kitchen. Thank you for supporting both games. It's awesome.
There's been a lot of love and questions for Andromeda's Edge going, excuse me.
I'm happy if you want to take a breather to
we can go anywhere, because you know, we take that.
I was just gonna say that, like, as excited as I am for people to play the game, I am so excited for all the posts that people are gonna do with the things they've cooked and the cookies they've made, and just like the way they interact with the other bits.
I will say that Alex did come on board and said, do we get any merch? And we were excited to make merch. We made a lot of merch. So there's a merch feast level where you could get all of the merch at like a discounted price, where you could pick and choose which ones you wanted. I think that the critter cutters is what we're calling them really are going to blow people away, because in addition to the 3 orange ones, we made 12 more, and there's a panda, and there's a python, and there's a frog, and there's all sorts of stuff going on in those cutters. And I think people are going to have so much fun with that. And then we made a tin. That was what my big thing was. I want a tin to store it all. And then you could actually fit all of the teal ones plus the 3 orange ones in your tin, which is commemorative. And Sandara put a lot of effort into making sure the tin sides show a bunch of fun characters. So I was excited about that. We honestly are a game company first, but what's going to be neat, like you said, is when people start posting, hey, I'm cooking with the oven mitt. I'm using one of the recipes. You know, I'm doing the puzzle. We have the puzzle as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that we made an actual puzzle.
Yeah.
I have not actually finished it yet.
Off, yeah.
So when we get it, I want to do like a live where as many of us speed puzzle as possible, and see who can complete it the fastest.
I'll hop in on that. I like puzzles.
It might be the longest stream we've ever done.
I will not be fast on the puzzle.
It just needs to be someone needs to win.
500 pieces, and we picked Sandara's most challenging piece of art. It's Lantern Lane, and there's a lot of dark purple and blue, and a lot of red lanterns.
I think 500 is a great number for puzzles.
Yeah, I
seem to lose steam with 1,000, but anything less is too easy.
My granny's a big puzzler, and she only really likes 500s now. She's like, 1,000, you have to stop and leave it there for a while, whereas 500 you can do in a session.
Yeah, it's funny how it scales too, right? Because like you just hear the numbers, you're like, oh, 1,000, that takes twice as long. It's like, nope, 4 or 5 times as long.
Yeah, because you really have to find those corners and then the inside.
It's actually a puzzle championship. You can watch it. It's fascinating, where people go and do puzzles, timed puzzles. So these are so cute.
Yours is in the middle.
We're dressed like that right now. Look.
There you go.
Yeah.
Someone said on the Andromeda's Edge, Game Found chat, they're like, coasters. What are coasters in here for? It's because at Cardboard Alchemy, our first campaign was a coaster campaign, actually game trays, but the coasters were there to show you what kind of art we could do. And we had Sergio Chavez do 3 different coasters for our first one. And then we did a Mission Catastrophe coaster, and then we did Flamecraft coasters, and then we did Andromeda's Edge coasters, and we had to keep it going. So Dara came back to do, I think this is the most adorable set of coasters.
These are just super
do
cute.
not be afraid to actually put your drinks on these. I mean, the water will soak into the coasters, and your characters who love you will protect your table and give you the best game experience. And you can it's okay to get these wet. It is okay. They're meant to be functional.
Yes.
You could always.
I remember you testing them at UK Games Expo. You said, I want your most, like, I'm trying not to say like moist, but I want your most condensation-y drink, and then you put it down.
Yeah, I tested the coasters that are coming out of this current manufacturer, the same one they made in Andromeda's Edge. And they're the best quality coasters we've ever had. And when you put a drink on it, it soaks it all up, but it comes right back to the design, doesn't lose the color. They're actually amazing for the job. Now, they will do what coasters do, and like they wear. And so I know sometimes people don't want to put anything on Sandara's art, but I'm telling you, they're meant to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
She wants you to enjoy the game.
So if you don't want to put anything on them, there is a really lovely person who makes displays for coasters and art prints and stuff like that. So I can't remember what they're
You
called.
can always also Cardboard Alchemy will have them, and maybe you can always find me to show. I can bring some.
I would
extras.
bet. This is not me promising that this exists, but I would bet you could buy like a clear plastic or glass disc that you just glue this face up into it, and then the glass is protecting it.
Yeah. There's probably ways of doing it.
I have a question that combines Andromeda's Edge and Critter Kitchen. So
go.
Alex, if you were to design a Critter Kitchen faction, what would it be? This is me assuming you know something about Andromeda.
Well, he has not. We just talked about this.
I
need to show him Andromeda's Edge.
I did not get to play any of the pre-press versions. So Peter was actually offering to show it to me later. So you're gonna have to guide me a little bit here. So what are the bits that go into making a good faction?
All right. So every faction has, I'll tell you. So they have a special ship upgrade. So they have 4 different kinds of workers in that game. You've got your standard transports, which are going to do the bulk of your building of buildings. You've also got a fighter, which can attack first, ask questions later. You've got a science vessel that can explore farther into the nebula, and you've got a heavy cruiser that goes a little slower but has the ability to warp and has shields. Now, so for the Flame Keepers, we decided they should have a science vessel, and their science vessel works to stop the raiders from attacking them because they're too cute. They can't be attacked by raiders. So we try and figure out one of the types of ships to give someone a special ship. So we should it should be pigs in space. I don't know.
I feel like it should be the transport ships then, and you get like a small, a medium, and a large transport ship. Is there a way to make that work?
No, all the transports are the same.
This is dream scenario. This isn't happening.
All right, well, we can figure this out. No, I like what you're doing. Now, most factions actually have 2 powers.
Okay.
There is one faction with 1 power, but what we could do is this one could be the first one with 3 powers. Because we have a small, medium, large power, right?
I like that.
That's kind of fun.
For the special ship itself, though, I wanna borrow that Sunny Side Up art and have it be kind of like this airship
in space.
Like airship. Have you ever seen
it should be a heavy cruiser then. Just a massive Zeppelin.
There's like an anime called Battleship Yamato or something where it's literally a World War II battleship but as a spaceship.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like that. It's like it looks like an airship, but
and then it's sending out all these little flying saucer
little mouse fighters.
Yeah. Oh my god. Tons. Oh my god. The heavy cruiser is now what we got to do for Critter Kitchen.
We're trying to find the moon on the cheese on the moon and all of the coffee in the nebulas.
There you go. All right. So then the powers are all sorts of different ways to play. So that might be when you play it, you'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I've seen it. I've seen the copy out on the table. Your laptop is actually up on the Andromeda's Edge box right now because it's so big. It's actually a perfect.
It props it up. This is how we.
I'm actually using Abduction, which is tall enough with its expansion combined, which is also a spaceship game.
Yeah. So it's funny because I feel like Critter Kitchen is sci-fi is not my top category. I love fantasy. It's probably my number 1 thing to make. And of course, we made for Breaking Games. I worked on Dwellings of Eldervale, and that's Andromeda's Edge sort of comes from that. But Luke loves sci-fi. Brad loves sci-fi. Chris loves sci-fi. So it was like, okay, I like sci-fi. Let's go for it. But it's actually our second sci-fi game here. But I was a little bit more excited for a cooking theme, because my very first game was called What the Food, which is a food fight to the death. And I love food games. And, it's probably one of my love languages. So I'm just like, food, yes, let's have this. I could go on. I think, if we ever do expansions, I just constantly will be both hungry for more in both senses of the word.
I mean, there are literally like 100 different versions of just the solitary bee. So you can't run out of animals. You can't run out.
You should do an all bee version.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
nothing but bees.
All bees.
Oops, all bees.
It's just like a
restaurant that's just run by bees. Sounds terrifying.
Literally like everything in the. So we just say it's just an all bee version.
It's the bee.
So Dara's watching the stream like, no.
I want 100 unique bee art. Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell another funny story about Critter Kitchen behind the scenes was we talked to Sandara about all the critters. We actually gave Sandara full veto. She could say, I am not going to make that character. And I'm not going to tell you any of those that she vetoed, because someone will say, that's my favorite animal. And they'll find out that she said, I am not drawing that one. But she did say,
to be fair, she vetoed 99 types of bees. I don't know.
I mean, So well, the reason why she was doing it is because she was trying to differentiate them. So a lot of times she'd be like, that's too close to one that I've already drawn. And each one of the critters has a blend to her. So she might have already added a shark tail or done a, different kind of bear, So she was trying to be unique. And one of the ones we gave her is a fly. And she's like, I can't make a cute fly. That's impossible. There's no cute flies. It's not going to happen. And you had a fly concept that the reason why it was barreling forward is because of a pun. It was barreling forward. We had to do it.
Yeah. So it was a couple of good things. So the fly zoo chef, as we've probably mentioned before, it ticks a few boxes. One, its name is Marty, so it's Marty McFly, right? Great pun right there.
Right.
It's also the nature of its power has to do with both a fly in your soup as an expression and a fly on the wall about rumors. It
combines both of those idioms. Very nicely done.
We had pot committed to like great puns and double meanings that all were in this thing, and we're like, okay, we got to push for the fly. Like, I don't think flies are cute either, but like I wanted a fly in this game because it just works.
And I would say that she made it cute. She figured it out. She said, you know what? I will. Let's see. He's probably.
Would it be in this one with the.
No, that's the basic.
I also designed some cute flies once, so you can make them cute.
Nope, not in that one. You're right. It probably was in that one. Yeah, go open.
All
right. Well, we'll
figure it out.
We'll find the. This got to be this one here. We'll find the fly. I think she absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
So we'll show you right now on the fly.
On the fly. Oh, Peter.
I can occasionally participate in the pun game.
This is why we work
I am not
together.
hired for that reason. There we go.
He's wearing his little life preserver, as they say in 1955.
So cute. Is he holding soup, or is it?
It's a bowl of soup.
Yeah.
It's a fly in your soup. That's adorable. It's adorable.
Oh,
Marty.
yeah.
Amazing.
It's a
good job, Sandara, because I don't know how I would have done that. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Anyway, do we want to talk about any Andromeda's Edge things? I will not force Alex to answer them. I can answer them if there's any hot questions. Otherwise,
we probably don't want to spend any time on it now because we've already talked about it so much. But we do have the entire deluxe version over here,
yes,
so you might want to save that for like next week's stream or something. And
I will.
Tease it.
If you want to say anything that you were particularly excited about in the deluxe,
oh my gosh,
you can pull out one of the you can pull out the Zoo Chef tray or the cart tray or anything.
Okay, all right.
Well,
we talk about Andromeda's Edge.
I'll answer some Andromeda's Edge.
Over here.
All right.
The question I don't know if I don't know this one. Is it a joke or is it a thing?
Wow, that's a whole Mark, you should make that a post in Facebook or okay. Changeling Pods is probably the most complicated module in the game because but it's so much fun. So what it is it's a purple module, it's a metamorphosis module. And it comes up, I believe, in the commerce deck. So when a module comes up in a deck, it does not mean you have to put it in that row. So when you get Changeling Pods, you can assign it to science, and then you go up science, you can assign it to industry, and then you go up industry. You can assign it to commerce, you can assign it to civilization. When you assign it, it has a power that you are allowed to exchange modules from that row with modules in the field. So you could you could take a ship or an energy to the Changeling Pods, then take another module in that row. So let's say you put it in civilization, and then you have a module in civilization that gives you tactics cards. And then mid-game, you're like, I don't need tactics cards anymore. I'm going to go to the Changeling Pods, and I'm going to take that tactics card, and I'm going to move that into the module field, and I'm going to take a different module from the module field back into my row. Even cooler, if the module that you're moving out is damaged, you get rid of that damage. The new module doesn't come with it unless it itself has damage. So you can actually say, wow, this damaged module, I'm not using it, and I'm going to get rid of that damage right before we score the next event. So the Changeling Pods has so much power. You can see a module that comes out and immediately grab it for someone else using that module.
Very cool.
There's combo-licious things you can do in that game. So did you pull out some?
I did. I have three things.
All right.
I have three things to know. So this doesn't even begin to scratch everything that's in the box, but
we're calling Deluxe Edition Critter Kitchen highlights. So top three.
First of all, some people have already seen these. This is the stars, which are used for scoring.
Yeah, I did check, but still, they are worth bringing up.
Peter Hayward and I had the exact same thought, which is like, oh, those look nice, but I don't quite get why everyone's raving about them. When you touch these in person, they have the best tactile feeling of just about any game currency that I have ever experienced.
It's hard to capture.
It's hard to capture. They've got like a slight bevel. They're heavy. They feel substantial. Like when you earn one of these, you feel like you're earning a thing. One of the things I know Peter Hayward cares about a lot, and it's a good point, is like it's nice to have the denomination on both sides of the currency.
Yes, when you pick it up, you don't immediately wonder, what is this?
Right. These are just we immediately started using them as prototype components in other games we're working on. Like
in the office, they've borrowed the stars.
We've borrowed the stars.
They also borrowed the Flamecraft dragons. They also borrowed the potion bottles. We make a lot of components that are useful.
We stole some dwellings of Eldervale monsters. I think Peter took
wherever
all of
the
your game
inspiration
trays.
comes, you gotta go with it.
I love Danny Standring's reaction to those. I've got on video her just going, the coins.
Yeah, she sees a lot of games, so that also really meant a lot to me. That someone who sees a lot of components, looks at games all the time, was blown away.
Okay, number two
ranked.
This is.
If you thought those were good,
this is the game tray
Woo-hoo!
insert that holds all of the Zoo Chefs.
Hold on 1 second.
Is there secret stuff here?
There might be.
Oh no! Nobody go back and pause the screen there.
Don't
you dare!
I'm not going to put it back up because we're not going to identify what. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We had to take that away.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Way to ruin it, everybody who didn't do it on purpose. Sorry.
We had a brief look at the meeples.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the rest.
Nope. Someone's going to go.
Everyone watching right now.
There's a secret.
You have to go all the way to the end of the stream, and if you've done that, just enjoy the fact that you saw something.
Yeah,
and
you know something no one else does. Don't ruin it for
just
everybody.
Keep it like that.
We will be deleting all screenshots from the internet.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
But the Zoo Chef tray, I have to say, is like impeccably organized. The game trays did a great job. They kept now. When the Zoo Chefs are out, the tray will be a little bit intimidating because you have to put each one where they go. We have a diagram for that. And then you don't take out every Zoo Chef during the game. So you don't have to worry about, where do they all go? Unless someone at your house takes them all out. And then you'll have to do it again. But anyway.
Is there anything secret in here or can I show this?
No, that is fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is
the cart tray apparently has ranked number 1.
The all of the bits for the carts. So the carts are really one of the things that kind of turn the like Peter mentioned earlier. Like Peter Hayward and I weren't sure that we could do all of this variable content, and then we sat down and made twice as much as this, and it didn't all make it into the game, but the best ones did. And in the deluxe edition of this, I'm just going to take this lid off.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of this is either wood or metal, and these are just
backers asked for that. You did ask for this when the package is massive and heavy and everything. You did ask for it.
If you're using the newspaper cart, we have wooden tokens that are little newspapers that actually say Bistro News on them.
Sadar has a picture of I believe it's the capybara and a friend.
2 of the critics, coming to town. The rumor tokens are wooden little speech bubbles with the symbols on them.
Yeah. Well, we could each put up a bubble for what we're saying.
Don't
too small.
Don't go back.
There you go.
Closer. There you go. Closer.
Do like Lord of the Rings. Being that the speech bubble is Gandalf and you're Frodo.
You know what I love about the newspaper cart? We really there were a lot of different cart ideas, and the newspaper cart adds 2 more rumors to the game. And rumors, there's already 3 rumors that like say the rabbit comes to town, and then these rumors are things you can find out about what the rabbit really prefers. Maybe it wants a big bowl of soup to dip all the bread in, and you don't know that. You could play all the way to the end of the game and not worry about it and try and do your best scoring 7-course meals. Or you could listen to these rumors and go, oh no, they actually want like a low bread one and a high wine course. And if you know that and someone else doesn't know that, then they might not get those stars. And the newspaper rumors add 2 more to go keep track of, read all about it. This critic cares about this.
We have our gold coins for the coin cart.
Great, yeah.
These are
Bistro Bay.
Yeah. How many coins do you get?
You get, that's a cart of 7, because in this game, 7 is the magical number.
Everything is 7s.
Basically, at some point, we decided that every 7 of your ingredient value is going to be worth a point. And we just ran with the 7s. That's what the thing was. It's all. Cookbooks.
I won't go through all of them, but this is another attention to detail thing. We have these little cookbooks. There's a cookbook cart that lets you improves your quality with certain ingredients, and each one of these not only has a little bit of art, they also have a pun. So the name of the meat cookbook is Meat Cute.
Meat Cute. I like this.
Did you do that, Alex?
Alex,
me and Peter both. Peter Hayward. Yeah, this is recipes for fun guys. And then the bread one is A Rising Art.
There we go.
And I'll leave the rest to be discovered by the people when they get their copies.
The cookbooks are really fun because that cart, if you get a cookbook, then you can use that ingredient as wild, which is amazing. Like, talk about like people are rushing to get the cookbooks, and it just changes the game. All of a sudden, you need a wild ingredient. So
yeah, I know. I said I had 3, but
we're also adding another one.
I know it made me think of it when I saw.
Well, so far I've only seen 2 actually. So
I didn't want to.
Oh yeah,
I didn't want to.
We haven't looked at the third one, so this is the third one.
Wait, really?
No,
that's right. Yeah, there we go.
That didn't happen.
Just seeing all those wood bits reminded me of how cool this is. Like this is the bag.
That's a standing bag.
This is it's freestanding. It's got a flat bottom, so it's.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Castles of Burgundy that made me go standing bags.
It feels wonderful. It's got a nice drawstring. All of the tokens in the game go from being punchboard in the standard to full wood in full color in this game.
The color side, the sides of this is what I'm
there.
saying in the beginning. The sides of the tokens are different. So you're pulling out, you get orange from the carrots, you get all the different
Rosie, you're gonna have fun with the ASMR sound
oh
videos.
Yeah, I can't wait to unbox it.
And it's really great. We did the testing of like it's got enough room to shuffle.
Yes, actually, we were talking about Expansity earlier. One of the biggest our greatest regret in life.
Yes, absolutely.
Nothing else, just that. The Expansity drawbag is just slightly too small.
Slightly, yes. and I know what it was. It was a production thing. It's kind of one of those things where it goes into production. You have a check, but sometimes it's late in the game and you're like, let's just go. It's not that bad. And that one, we should have stopped the presses for that one. The bag was, I believe it was like a 5-inch by 5-inch, but you put all these tiles in it and then you just have, it's packed.
And once you're 20% of the way into the game, it's a non-issue because you've dug down and there's more space. But like right at the beginning, it's kind of bursting. And I think it was a cost issue too. That game was already pushing against MSRP, and bags are surprisingly expensive actually. So but that's a wish list.
But now I've solved it.
We've learned all the bag lessons, and this is the best bag I've ever seen in my entire life.
There we go.
Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoys all of that behind the scenes stuff. And if you have any other questions for Alex, or Andromeda Z, we could talk about. I know we got Andromeda Z coming. Rosie, what do you got over there?
Oh, my teacup. Lady likes my teacup.
Oh,
couldn't be more British right now if I tried. We even have a tiny teapot.
Oh, look at that. It's adorable.
It's the most selfish teapot ever because it's just for one person. There was a bunch of people just saying that they're waiting for their copy of Andromeda's Edge. Dobby's excited and waiting for his copy of Andromeda's Edge too. William was saying that he's going to play Andromeda's Edge tomorrow, and he's so excited. Hello from Oklahoma.
Thanks for the support, and I hope you enjoy that game. It's going to be an amazing weekend for all the people who are digging in, and then I know some people are still waiting, and then we're hopefully have amazing weekends to come for all the people getting Andromeda's Edge.
I just love seeing all these people someone is photographing them go out and meet the FedEx guy, and I love it so much. Mark Bandridge, shout out to making a little. That's Doug.
Okay.
He's cooking dinner. He's crittering away in the kitchen. But yeah, so shout out to anyone photographing themselves. Also to the partners supporting this waiting outside their house for FedEx parcels. I love it. I've got some photos of Doug carrying mine up the stairs, and it's just his head in a box.
Yeah, I love seeing all the pictures. This is one of the most fun parts. This is the part that is going to be coming to, the Critter Kitchen experience is going to be just a full January, February, and March of this. I think it's what it's going to be. Yeah. Where we're going to get all of that joy that when you spread fun to a table, you give people something to do that, they experience. Scott Morris over at Lucky Duck always says we're not making games, we're making experiences. And I believe that is absolutely true. One time I was making a game and like a father-daughter came to buy it and it was their first game, and then they played it right then and there, and I saw the joy on the little girl's face, and I was like, I gotta keep doing this.
It's great. I remember the first time I saw Expansity in the wild outside of like a convention, There's a copy at my local game cafe that I had donated, so I can't say they found it organically, but it was the same thing. It was a mother and son. I walked in and they were playing the game on the table. Like they had pulled it off the shelf. They had sat down and learned the rules. And that was my first time seeing sort of strangers outside of a convention play something I made. And it was just a really special moment. It sticks with you.
Yeah.
I love coming across people playing Flamecraft at events, and I go up to them and they'll be like, "We're just learning it because they've just bought it and they don't want to play it." And I'd be like, "Do you want to teach?" And they're like, "Oh, do you know it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah.
Do you want a promo? Like just popping out of nowhere.
No one's on the Edge question. Just that I've played 6 games and I loved each one. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, is that 6 since it got delivered? That's impressive.
There's people digging in right now. I saw a picture on Facebook of someone in Michigan with 3 games going simultaneously.
Whoa.
And they were actually begging us to make wormhole tiles so you could go in between games, which would be cool. I have to admit, I did want to do that originally. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, we might.
Because in Flick 'em Up, there's another, you can like, because Flick 'em Up, you're flicking like little bullets towards cowboys. There's another one which can be on another table where you can go over to the other area and play it there too, because they know how big their game is. So that's really
actually
cool.
Had that idea once. I wanted to do a game night where we have Ticket to Ride US and Ticket to Ride Europe on 2 different tables, and then there's an action that you can now take to go across and play on the other board.
You need a transatlantic ship themed game to play in the middle.
Absolutely. Then you get out of ship.
You get like one of the Titanic.
Then you go
games.
Take your turn over there. That would be
the Eurostar tunnel.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Comment about Flamecraft and Honeybuzz have pulled my mother into the hobby. Going to our local game store this weekend to pick her up a Sherlock game that she made me order. That's awesome. I love that. I love playing with family. Have your kids gotten into? I mean, they're young, so
nothing I've made is light enough for them just yet. But my older son Jack is 4.5, and he really loves Animal Upon Animal. It's a hobby game where you stack little wooden animals and you just try and balance them. It's good for learning dexterity, and he enjoys that one quite a bit. We've also been playing a lot of just classic card games. Like he likes War, because you flip up a card, high number wins. It's
does he play Rhino Hero?
I've heard that's a great one for kids. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah.
It's one of Doug, nearly 40, favorite game.
Well,
he's obsessed with Rhino, and Rhino Hero Super Battle is a mega version of it, and it's like building up this. You put either you're tasked with putting like a roof or a building or the rhino, but in Super Battle there's other heroes, and then there's monkeys to hang. Yeah. It's just epic.
There's one you recommended on your TikTok a while ago called Happy City that
it's so lovely.
Hayward plays with his son who's 6 or 7, I think 6, and I think I played it with them, and it's really great. And so I think the big barrier is like once my son knows how to read, I think it'll open up a lot of doors for a lot of games. But that's
so close.
Soon,
but until then, you can actually. So my son, when he was 4, he played Settlers of Catan, the kids one, and then also at 6 we played Sushi Go.
Nice.
And he just could see the pairings.
Yeah, I mean, like he knows numbers. So any card that's just numbers on cards, he's
And then so when you talk about animals, it's really funny. My son really loves animals, so I can usually get him in if I show him an animal game. And he saw Critter Kitchen and played it and ranked it above certain video games. So I think that's a win. But also we were playing parks, and one of my favorite stories is that there's animals in parks. You get little wooden tokens of animals if you can take a picture. There's a certain way there's like one tile that generates the wild animals, and then you can get that and spend it as any resource. So I was telling him about this move you could make. I was like, oh, you have enough to go get that location. You could spend your 2 raindrops and the sun, and then you just have to spend that animal. He's like, no, not spending the animals. We're hoarding the animals. I don't care if I win this game right now. I want all of the animals. I'm going to go to that space and that space only. I was like, maybe we're not ready for this game. But
not Ark Nova next then.
I mean, actually, I'm excited because my son and I were playing a game by Oink, Moving Wild.
Yeah.
And because it's animals, we got into it immediately, and we were playing it at PAX West a lot. We were playing tons of that game. He really liked it, and I said, what we should play next is a game I think he's going to love. Is called Life of the Amazonias, which I just checked out. It's like earlier this summer, and the publisher we were in touch about. I was just gushing about it because it's got all these custom meeples, and each person starts with their own animal. So I had an aardvark But you can start, like, everyone gets their own custom animal that they get to start with, and you're trying to build out the Amazon. And as you build enough, water tiles or enough, land tiles, you can start to put in, you start to get certain animals that score based on tile patterns. And it's just about the cute meeples sometimes, and that sometimes get people into games. And then they realize, wow, games are really fun. They can be really fun.
Did you buy Moving World?
I did. Yeah.
Because that game is actually an Oink game they picked it up from Unfringed Games, who are a tiny little publishing company. It's like 2 people in the UK, and the game is Zuli. And then they took it and turned it into an Oink game, and it sold out at UK Games Expo really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And now it's back, but it was highly sought after.
I actually tried to get it at UK Games Expo, and we missed.
Yeah.
And so then when we saw it at PAX, we immediately got it. And then every breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we were moving the plates out of the way to put Moving Wild during our meals. So I was having a lot of fun with that.
I've never seen a game that I already have picked up by another company and turned into a completely different size and design.
Yeah.
It was so interesting, and I'm so happy for Chris, because it was like his first game, and that's incredible to be picked up by Oink Games. So that's really cool. And speaking of Oink Games, they'll be at Essen. We'll be at Essen.
Segue.
So definitely come and say hi to us. I would love to be remembered. I think it's like booth Hall 3411. I think it is R411. I think is where we are.
411, and you'll be like, "That's
nice." Thank you, Alex.
Easy
Right
to
away.
remember.
Look at how snappy that is. So we're in Hall 3, and I'm excited. Essen's coming up
Soon.
It is going to be here soon. We got Breeze.
But we won't be wearing these. We'll be wearing Andromeda's Edge t-shirts.
That's right. It'll be space themed. We're going to be Luke Laurie, the designer of Andromeda's Edge, is going to join us. We've got Cardboard Alchemy taking over a big chunk of the Lucky Duck booth, and they are selling all 4 of the retail products. So we're excited to see how that gets received. It's the international debut. We were actually talking to Alex. We're going to have to figure out the international debut of, when the first show that will have Critter Kitchen, when could be UK Games Expo. We'll see let's see what show is the debut.
That would be awesome. My home ground.
Yeah, right.
We can just.
I'm sure Rosie will take it out somewhere earlier than that, so we can call that the debut.
Probably. There is a few smaller events that happen in March and April and stuff. So yeah.
I think that I mean, this is not usually a show that most other than industry folks go to, but I think Gamma will probably be the debut of Critter Kitchen, which is actually really big for retail. I think that there's going to be there's already stores calling us for this game, so I think it's going to be really fun to see how it goes over, because one of the things we did with Critter Kitchen that we're really proud of is that we kept the base game at the same price as Flamecraft, and we crammed even more in there. So I don't know if we can keep that magic up alive for all of the ones we're making, but I'm super happy for that, because it really just means more people can get in, more people can find out about games,
No, really excited. I have lots of ideas already. I want Alex and Peter having a cook-off.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like flipping food and serving it. There'll be food and safety standards.
If UKGE is one of the big launch ones, that might coax me over there. I can set up a chili truck or something.
Oh man. We gotta get like a soup truck at a booth. You know what I mean?
Imagine that there is like a food court. Imagine like there's also a game in the food court.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, if we didn't get to your question, or if there's anything else you want to ask, I mean, Alex will, is rare in these parts, but we can always pass on questions to the 2 designers. We might also have another heads up someday.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
But ask anything you want about Critter Kitchen, about Andromeda's Edge, especially if you've got copies delivering. We're on Facebook. We've got a Discord group. Of course, we've got our campaign pages and YouTube. So if there's anything you want to know about,
you can ask on the forum on BGG as well if you want to use that.
And Rosie, is there anything that they should comment on this YouTube?
I think you should say bread because of Alex.
Oh yeah, Alex, the alpaca.
Yeah,
I want your favorite type of bread.
Oh, okay. So it's not just a
favorite type of
You
bread.
can say bread, but I would like a favorite type. It could be toast. It could be ciabatta.
Well, we had an alpaca around here. We're gonna have to find it.
He's off finding.
Also, if any of you haven't haven't pledged for Critter Kitchen, it is available. And late pledges open until the 11th of October, and there is a link below this video. So please check it out. And also, if you want to add any of that merch on and you've already closed your pledge, you can just contact us and we can sort that out for you. So
I will say that, games, when you're making games like we do, we crowdfund them, we find out the interest in a game, and then go to the community to say, should this game get funded, which is a very special moment. We're very lucky to have our games funded in a big way. But I will say that there's no guarantee that certain editions of the game, we're going to have the alpaca come in now. Ta-da! Name your favorite kind of bread in the comments.
What's
but
your favorite
also,
kind of bread? Oh, sorry.
I will get into that because I have an answer.
Yeah, okay.
But what I want to say is that the deluxe edition is not guaranteed to reprint. There's a lot of times when a game does have the deluxe components reprint, and sometimes they go on hiatus for a long time. This deluxe edition for Critter Kitchen at the moment is going to be limited to this run unless things change. So if there is a chance that you want deluxeified stars and all the cute animal meeples in the world, then you might want to say this is worth it. It has a lot of modules to it. It has a lot of gameplay. And I'll answer my favorite kind of bread right now. I'm very excited to go to Germany for Essen because I happen to love pretzels the most of any bread. And I can't believe that when you go to train stations in Germany, it's just like pretzels with butter are right there, like every corner.
Pretzel sandwiches.
Yeah, pretzel sandwiches. And they're not the kind of, what would happen if you had just little small markets on every corner. Here, it would be like the most boring bread. It would be stale bread. This is like fresh pretzels all over the place.
That's a great.
My favorite bread was, because I can't eat any flour, was giraffe bread, which is I think what a kid named for a supermarket over here. I think it's normally called another thing, but they said I think it's giraffe bread because of the pattern, and so they renamed it because of the kid. And it's just that crusty bread with the very soft inside. And as a kid, I would just eat the entire inside and then leave this hollow shell.
Wow.
And Mum would go, "Oh, there's bread." No, there isn't. It's just.
It reminded me. I was just reminded that in the UK, of course, Yorkshire pudding could be actually a contender.
Could be a contender. That's a good choice.
Wait, Yorkshire. What
and then we've also got cheesy garlic bread. By the way, was named.
I think they might have different. It's like popovers.
Is it? Am I calling it something different? Yorkshire pudding.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know what a Yorkshire pudding is. I just didn't know it was bread.
I mean,
well, it might not be. So
maybe it's like
it's popover. The way my dad always made it was like popover dough, but laid out in like a baking dish with a lot of butter in it.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. I mean, whatever you want to put your stuff in, and eat, still got flour in it.
What are you gonna say?
Oh my gosh! So this is like Sophie's choice right here. This might be the hardest question I've ever been asked in my entire life. A lot of my favorites I see are already in the comments. I like sourdough. I like challah.
Oh my god, San Francisco
I
sourdough
like ciabatta. It's a weird one, I think, but I really like pumpernickel.
Oh,
like a pumpernickel
bagel.
Yeah, something like just earthy and like the spicy.
I worked at a restaurant one time. It was an Irish pub, and they had a dark rye that they put all the burgers in. It's like the burgers were in a dark rye. It was so good. Oh my gosh! Now we have to go get bread.
I'm gonna have to pick up some dark rye and some pretzels for Thanksgiving now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad that my dinner is ready. How's your?
There you go.
You want to go get lunch?
That's right. That's what we're gonna do.
If you go have big sandwiches, I want to see pictures. Put them in the Discord.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Bye everybody.
And enjoy.